All right, went and picked up the new quarter this morning, so we'll get back started on making this repair. And I know Sanchtech mentioned that he would have cut the patch out first, and then held that up against the car, scribed a line on the car, and then cut out the opening. And we are kind of doing it the opposite way, and I'm not sure if one way is better for one reason or another, but we cut out the opening first. Just so we knew where we were cutting, and wanted to make sure we cut it in a good spot. And now using the template that we cut off of the car to fit it up against the new one, and scribed a line. So we're going to probably cut about a 1/2 inch on the outside of that line, just to give a little room to tweak it. If we have to make a couple of extra cuts to sneak up on it, we'll do that. I think righ mentioned that the quarter skin he got, now this piece that I cut out was part of an aftermarket complete quarter panel that we put on the car a couple of years ago. We put quarter panels on both sides, and yep, we're redoing that. He mentioned that the quarter skins he put on the Mustang he did a while back were like 1.5 inches wider at the wheel opening, and this one actually seems to be narrower than the one that was on it. So don't know how it's going to fit up with the wheelhouse. We may have to do some tweaking on that, but I know one thing for sure is I'm not going to force anything to fit. I'm going to lay this on there, and wherever it's not fitting correctly, nothing's going to be clamped or forced into place. We're going to keep massaging and tweaking, and if we need to make a couple of relief cuts here and there in the inner wheelhouse, or if we even need to cut the whole bottom lip down there and cut an opening in it to allow it to come down so that it's not being forced to be clamped, then we can come back and weld it back up from the inside as we're test fitting before we put this on for good. So somebody responded to the video last night and said, quote, just glue it on, and kind of got excited about that because it would be real easy to do. Take a lot less time and a lot less risk of warpage and that kind of thing. But I was pretty sure I'd remembered Slow SRT commenting to Cecil about not using panel bond adhesive on a seam like this, because the panel bond adhesive expands and contracts at a different rate than the metal, and if you pull it in and out of the sun, you could the seam could reveal itself as the two dissimilar substrates expand and contract at different rates. So I messaged Matt this morning, and he confirmed that that is the case. So we're back to doing it the long way and the hard way, and we're going to weld it on. So I know I've been talking for a long time. I'm going to stop talking, going to start cutting, and we'll get to work. All right, well, we're making some progress here, getting this thing fitted in, and I only have a few plecos. I had a kit that came with, I guess it's the 1/8 inch ones and 3/16, or I'm not sure what those are, but they're a lot bigger, and didn't use those, so we just used some sheet metal screws in some areas, and the plecos in others. So it's fitting up pretty good. There's a couple of areas here and there where the gap's a little big. It's definitely a good thing I'm using that backing plate. There's no way I could have butt welded this. It would take me forever to get those gaps lined up perfectly. So it's getting there. We're going to have to got it all fitted up, not ready to weld it yet. It's just unbelievable. You can see, hopefully, how much gap there is right there on that side. And you can see at the bottom it's pulled in tight there, so it can't go up any higher. And then over here, same kind of thing. So that's how this was before, and instead of working on that to fix it, I'll just put a clamp on it and clamp it together and welded it. So that's how we ended up with the problem. Up at the top, I've got it pulled up. Well, you can't really see it, but at the top I've got it pulled up all the way tight there, and so we're going to do some work on the outer wheelhouses. I guess that's the problem. And we put a partial outer wheelhouse on each side, and I don't know, maybe it's the way we did that, or maybe I want to say that maybe I got two different manufacturers. One side was one brand and one side was another. I'd like to blame it on that. Don't know. May have been something I did, but we're going to get it fixed now so that those made up all the way around, and that there's no pulling or forcing to get it to weld up. All right, we'll come back in a little bit and show you as we make more progress. All right, when me and Matt are out here working, one of our main goals is to see just how much of a mess we can make and how much stuff we can just drag out, and leave on the floor. And normally we've kind of always operated under the philosophy of continuous improvement, and so we've continued to be able to, each time we have a project, make more and more of a mess. So pretty proud of that. All right, well, we've made some progress here, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but you can see the gaps are, I don't know if you saw that earlier, how much of a gap there is now. And the thing about it is the lip on this thing, whoa, not really getting much for you there. There you go. You can see how tight it is all the way around. And the lip on this thing is just so narrow. Sorry about all the shakiness. It's just not enough room to, again, sorry about all the shaky cam stuff there. Get the light on. I mean, you literally see how much of the lip there. I mean, from the factory, this is supposed to be spot welded, so you'd need to plug weld that. And that was the mistake I made. I was trying to get that to completely overlap, and even if this wheel well is not in the perfect position, it just is not enough meat there to overlap it and get a plug weld on it. So anyway, we've gotten the wheelhouse separated out, and we don't have it fully welded on. I'll come back in just a second and show you what it looks like right now. All right, well, here's what it looks like, and over here where it was relatively close together, you can see I was able to, from the back side, bridge a little tack across there, one there, and then over here, man, it just really opened up wide and had to make a little metal patch just to be able to tack it. You can see that's a good inch to 3/4 of an inch. I used this to cut it out with, so you think the thickness of the blade and the material that it displaced, took up some of that, but still. So that's why it, was so stressed and stretched, because, this gap that's here, I basically forced out of the quarter panel before. So live and learn. All right, that's about all we're going to do for tonight, and we'll come out here tomorrow night and get this welded in. We may be able to fill all that, put some copper behind it until we get over here. We'll have to make a patch, and then we'll seam seal the crap out of it from the inside and the outside. And you can see right here was the original section repair. The outer part of it was rusted out, and this is where I repaired it from before, and that needs some seam sealer on it too. We don't have any seam sealer on anything on the back yet. I hate grinding that stuff off, and you never know what you're going to have to put what you're going to do. Like when we did the wheel tubs is one of the later things that we did, and so just left it off for now, but we'll definitely go back and do that. All right, guys, going to upload this. Have a good one.